So right now, these are the 5 key trends that you need to know about business sales for the coming year. Well, we're just heading into a new year. Summer holidays is here. I'm still on holiday, as you can probably see, although I'm back to work in the next day or so, back into the office. But at the end of each year, we have a look at the trends that were in the last 6 months of the calendar year, because those trends tend to follow through into the first 6 months of the new year. So these are the 5 things that we're seeing now that are affecting business sales. Now, if you're a buyer or a seller, you should know these trends, because if you can hop onto them, then maybe you can get something, a good deal, something that will work for you. So here we go, 5 trends, business sales for the new year. So the first trend we have is a record demand for business ownership at the end of 2024. Now, ABC, company I'm with, they measure the inquiry rate, and they measure that by people who sign confidentiality agreements. Now, obviously, you can't get information on a business unless you sign a confidentiality agreement. So ABC, we measure those numbers. To give you an idea, let's have a look. Those numbers hit a record high at the end of 2024. We had a 33% increase. That's over a third on inquiry over the previous year, and a 71% higher inquiry over the year before. Now that is huge. That's showing that people are flooding back into the market and buyers want to buy good businesses. So what does that mean? Well, the lesson is simple, isn't it? We've got people coming back into the market. Now, that may be driven by economic factors, that may be driven by unemployment, maybe it's people coming back into New Zealand, but whatever the reason is, we have a record high number of people wanting to buy businesses. Now, that's a great thing if you're a business owner. It's probably not so much good if you're a business buyer, but it's quite simply a reflection of the market. So what does that actually mean? Well, if you're coming into the market and you want to buy a business, you've got to be aware there's competition in the market for those businesses. So you can't muck around, you can't dilly-dally, you can't take time to make a decision, or a long time to make a decision. You've got to find a business that looks right for you and make a decision to buy or move on. There's going to be plenty of buyers behind you. So what does that mean for sellers? Well, simply, it's a little bit of a seller's market, but that won't stay that for long. I mean, simply put, if the market is good and there's lots of buyers, what happens is sellers come into that market. So make sure your business is ready for sale. Make sure that if this is the time, if now is the year you want to sell, right now's the time. Take advantage of those extra buyers in the market. There's never been a better time to sell a business based on the inquiry level that we're getting. So trend number 2 is that for a fully managed business. Now, Kiwis are looking for businesses that are fully managed, that have a good system in place and have good management in place. So they can be a business owner, but look at governance, look at support, and look at management, rather than being a day-to-day worker in the business. So they're not what we would call an owner-operator business, but they are fully managed. And it is an important distinction. Now, the preference is for fully managed businesses with a profit after all expenses and management costs of about $500,600,000 per year. Now, businesses like that we've brought to market over the last 6 months have had double the inquiry rate of an owner-operator business. Double. Now, that's just an incredible statistic if you have a fully managed business. So if you have a fully managed business, right now you should be looking at your future and deciding what you want to do. Now, the lessons here for buyers, well, that's quite simple. Fully managed businesses are commanding a premium in the market. There's simply less businesses available and more buyers that are looking at it. So you've got to be in the market quickly, you've got to have a look, and you've got to not dilly-dally. These fully managed businesses, not only are we getting twice the inquiry, but we're selling fast. So again, the lesson for buyers, don't muck around, get in there, find something that suits, and you'll be fine. Likewise with sellers, now's the time. So if you're a business owner, it would make really good sense to bring in some staff right now, step back out of the business. Yes, it might cost a little more for those staffing, but you're going to get a premium on the price because you then become a managed business as opposed to an owner-operator. So owner-operators looking to sell, now's the time to maybe hand off a little bit of the responsibility, hand off a little bit of the day-to-day activities, and take yourself out of the business as much as you can. The less that you're involved, the less critical you are to the business, the more the business is managed, the more likely you will get a premium price. And obviously, the more likely a buyer's going to want to buy your business. Why wouldn't they? If the systems are set up, if the management is set up, then a buyer's going to look at that business and it's going to be far more attractive to them than a business that they have to do that sort of stuff themselves. So in addition to the fully managed business, the other business that's getting a premium in price are those with reoccurring income that carries on month on month on month. Now, I don't know about you, but I have a Netflix subscription, I'm paying software subscriptions, I have all sorts of things. Now, every month, money comes out of my bank account and into the business's bank account, that company's bank account. Now, that reoccurring income is incredibly important in valuing a business. Buyers love to see it. They know that they can budget for the next whatever, 6 months, 8 months, 1 year, whatever, the money's going to roll in. Banks love it and buyers pay a premium for it. So that's the lesson. Reoccurring income, really important. So what does that mean in practical terms? Well, businesses with reoccurring income get valued higher than those without. It's very, very simple. They are valued, they are prized by buyers, and they are wanted, especially when the economic times are tough and you're making sale after sale after sale. That reoccurring income, if you like, that regular monthly payments from your clients is worth gold. So we're getting a premium multiple. If we're getting say a 3 multiple on a managed business, we might get a 3.5 or a 4 multiple on that same business with reoccurring revenue. Now those are just guides, they're not gospel. Please don't take them as that. They are only a guide. But if you want to know exactly how to value a business with reoccurring income, or you have reoccurring income and you want that business valued, obviously give us a yell. I'm happy to help out. So that's the lesson. Reoccurring income. So if you're a business owner, how do you take advantage of that? Well, get some contracted income, secure supply agreements against revenue streams. So get a customer who's going to buy X over a period of time every month for that period, and those revenue streams will then add value to the business. That's reoccurring revenue. As a business owner or a business buyer, any business that can secure future revenue in the form of contracts, in the form of recurring revenue, does add value to the business. It's important to look at that, and it's important to take that into account when you value the business, either for sale or if you're buying it. So the final point is something that buyers like, sellers, well, they just don't like it. And that's vendor finance. Vendor finance is becoming part of our sales process. Now, we're not at the stage where we're getting 100% vendor finance, and I don't think that's going to happen in the near future, but certainly a portion of the purchase price vendor financed in order to top up, I guess, what the buyers got and what the banks are giving them, enabling the deal to get over the line. So we are seeing vendor finance as part of the deal, but there are caveats to that. Now, this is something in probably 18, 20 years of business broking that I haven't seen. Certainly 10 years ago, vendor finance was unheard of in the market, but now it's becoming a regular occurrence to get those sales over the line. But it is a regular occurrence with caveats, and it's certainly not 100% financed. Now, buyers are probably the most nervous I've ever seen them. Most of them are scared of their own shadow, terrified to make the jump, and are looking for every assurance they can find, and every assurance that the business they're buying is going to thrive under the new owner. Now, often their idea of getting that confidence and their idea of holding on to that assurance is by vendor finance. Now, they figure that if they give, or if they ask for vendor finance and it's given, that the vendor is going to be confident that the business is going to continue and going to continue well. And that's not an unreasonable assumption. I mean, you wouldn't give finance if you thought the business was going to collapse the minute you walked out the door, would you? Banks like finance as well. They think it's great. It helps them with the risk and it helps them getting it over that hump. Now, I've made a whole video on vendor finance. It's not quite as simple as most people make out. So have a look at that video up there. I'll also link it in the description below. All about vendor finance. Tells you everything that, that you should know about getting vendor finance and how to deal with vendor finance. Just remember, if you're a purchaser and a seller for that matter, that vendor finance doesn't mean the seller's just going to hand over a pile of money. There does need to be security and there does need to be some form of commitment on both sides. Now, vendor finance can take the form of an earnout, maybe set against targets over time, maybe set against a contract, but it can also take the form of an earnout based on the performance of the purchaser. So in other words, how the purchaser runs the business can also dictate the payout and how that works. So there are more than one way to do it, but it is getting a premium on value at the moment. So don't expect to discount the price and get vendor finance. Most vendors who are giving vendor finance are getting a premium on price. So they're saying, yes, I'll finance it, but I'll finance it at this value, not discounting the price to finance it. So it is a good option and it is being used, but it's not just simply, here's some money, see you later. The fifth and final trend at the moment is a big resurgence in hospitality businesses, cafes, restaurants, bars, those sort of things. Now, traditionally, they're very, very popular with immigrants, and I guess that's because of the immigration that's come through over the last 18 months. We're seeing those purchases back in the market. So hospo businesses, definitely a good business to sell right now. There are plenty of buyers around and prices are pretty good. So that's the trend for hospo businesses. If you're a buyer, make quick decisions. If you're a seller, get into the market, take advantage of the fact that there are more buyers out there than ever before, and we can get a premium on price for you as a seller. Buyers, yes, you'll have to pay a bit of a premium, but the businesses that are on the market at the moment are pretty good businesses. There are some mistakes buyers still make, and I'll go through those up there. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Cheerio.